Hello everybody, welcome to Black Queer Lit Conversations. My name is Leon, the host of Trappy Hour. Tried to keep it a secret, but now it's out. And today's conversation is about the journey to yourself. We're talking with actor Stephen Walters about his experience growing up Black and queer. The question is, do you remember who you are before the world told you who you had to be? Thank you for joining us today. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an actor, model, mentor, father. I grew up in the church.
You just left church.
I just left church. Had a good time.
Amen.
And I'm a gay Black male.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah, amen.
And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But first, who is this person?
Ooh, Jesus Christ. Ooh, I wasn't ready. Oh, man.
Who was this person at this point?
You know, why are you doing this to me today? God damn you. He was just so innocent. This is little me. And just so curious about the world. I remember these fucking sandals.
What can you say you knew about yourself then? Like anything?
I was present. This is so weird. I was absolutely present in the moment. So I wasn't thinking about labels, names, what's right or what's wrong. I was just absolutely present. And now that I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh wow, like I have to fight to be present on a given moment.
Okay. So what changed that?
I'm about to say get my ass whooped. Yeah. Trying to always get it right.
Mm-hmm. I think like as Black queer men, that's a issue I'm going to speak to because I know that best. We do try to create this image because we have to change that because we talked about this picture.
Yeah.
What was the journey from not liking this picture? Because I'm not going to say not liking the person. I'm sure you always loved yourself or, you know, do what you could do. But that journey to being here today, talking about this.
Wow. I don't even know where to actually begin. What I will say is that as I'm looking at this picture, as I'm sitting here in this conversation, I'm like slightly saddened to the notion that I created a character to survive.
But
right?
I think that's a lot of our stories.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, like how different would I be if I were to allow this little boy to actually like grow, right? And so I think that it's funny that my career as an actor, because I learned how to act by, I think, wow,
that's amazing.
I want to grab you.
That is amazing.
I wasn't aware
we
that.
having breakthroughs.
Right, I wasn't aware that I actually mastered how to act because I was a queer little boy.
And you couldn't.
And it wasn't okay. And I did not know until my 30s that I was gay, you know?
You didn't know what till you
I did not know that I was gay until I was like, until I was 34.
So what were you doing?
Pretending and acting. Yeah, but I also thought that gay was something very specific and particular, and I also didn't fit.
Yeah,
I didn't fit.
Yeah,
I didn't fit
a lot of times
mold.
we don't see ourselves reflected, which is changing now. And the crazy part about it is you are the reflection. Like you are the reflection. You don't have anything. Someone's looking at you and being like, I like how he carries himself, or whatever they may think. And like, I feel like he feels about some things. I can be okay with what I feel like with this.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful part about it.
So as a kid, it's so funny because this story is probably going to shift to something that I actually wasn't prepared for, but it's totally fine.
Okay.
I revered my older sister, and I get a lot of my artistic ability from her. I get my spiritual insight actually from my sister. She's gifted like me. And she was an artist. She did hair, she did nails, she created clothes. And I think that I always had that. However, I grew up in a Pentecostal apostolic denomination.
Oh, the Pentecostals. Y'all supposed to be down. Y'all supposed to be down. The Pentecostals.
Down. Okay. And so a lot of my artistic ability was like suffocated in a sense. So I had to like, it was suffocated. It wasn't okay if you dance, you were going to hell.
Damn.
If you all these different things. You're like, there was no space in heaven for an artist.
So what was the catalyst of the shift?
Falling in love.
That'll do it.
But let me actually be really clear. Oh, this is really deep. Falling in love with God in a very interesting way. But right before I fell in love, I was working at a
God
church school.
or a nigga?
Wait, time out.
Okay.
We're gonna bring it home, baby.
Okay.
So right before, it was 2017, I was dating girls, and what was happening? I never could commit to any of them. Like, they never could have my heart, but I was like, king ding-a-ling in the bed, like doing all of this shit, right? And I was competing with myself to be my best self in bed with these women, but I never felt that they were worthy enough to being with me, like having my heart being with me in this particular way. And I had a conversation with God right before the new year, and I was like, yo, I want my career back, and I want love. Like, I want love. And that conversation with God allowed me to be open in a way that I actually was not prepared for. And I think that if he would have told me this beforehand, I was like, no. And then that was December. I knew the person for a number of years. But basically we met in March, and it was love at first sight. And
That's amazing.
Even right now, we're not together, we're still inseparable.
That feeling of love is a great feeling.
Yeah.
But when I think like you say it's another man, and like, okay, I didn't know how to do it, but it feels like it opens you up even more. I feel like when you fall in love, that's when there's like no more lies with yourself.
Oh, yes. And you said open me up even more. I will also say open me like deeper. Because I was so religious and my priority was loving God first, I was like, Lord, I know I love this man, but I love you more, so I don't want to die and go to hell. I used to have panic attacks before I even knew that I was gay. Like,
oh, wow.
If I were to like drink or if I would have sex, and I would have panic attacks that I was going to die and go to hell.
Woo, Lord.
And I would
did a number.
I would pray, and I would like pray so much that I would like pass out and fall asleep and be so thankful that I woke up the next morning. So then when I fell in love with this Negro, I was like, Jesus, I don't want to die and go to hell, but this feeling feels so good. And for 4 months, I prayed that it would be destroyed. And the message that I got from God was simply this: make sure that you don't love him more than you love me. And I'm like, what? I ain't gonna get like no lightning bolt.
Okay.
No lightning bolt.
It's okay.
I ain't gonna get beat. Like, what you talking about, Willis?
How has being around other Black queer people, how has that experience been as an adult and who's like open and out now?
You know, it is my saving grace. It is so powerful to be around.
I'm glad you said that.
No, I am so serious to, you know, being out, like, I was taught a lot of things about gay people and all this kind of stuff, and like, yeah, gay people, they're gonna support each other, they're gonna be this, that, and third for one another, but the level of support with the knowledge and the experience of like where we come from is like so powerful. Like, the reason why we support each other, because they're trying to make us extinct.
What was the first time you saw yourself reflected into the world? Like you saw someone and be like, I feel seen, I feel like a part of that.
To be honest with you, is when I actually stepped in the Trappy Hour for the first time.
Oh, okay, I'll
yeah,
take that.
And I had so many apprehensions, and I'm really private, and to be in a space and feel the spirit of like what I am there. Like I said, every time I go, it's like a family reunion. It's like, hey, I felt so safe.
Do you think something turns you gay?
Do I think something turned me gay? Absolutely not. Yeah.
And I think most people feel like that. If anything turned me gay, it was that D'Angelo video. Because I used to be up in that TV like, oh my God,
I like his lips. That's all I like.
I liked more than that. but that's always so funny because, you know, the things that made me or like let me notice the feelings were never queer things. Like, it was never a gay person walking down the street, because that was the thing that made me shy away from it. Because I'm like, oh, you getting like, no.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, why? Like Boozy, for example, us showing up in the world, like, I don't think, you know, people say they don't mind gay people, they just want us to show up very limited in this world. And I'm like, you know, there's children that are queer.
Yeah, I think that, like, I think that when you said that, was there anything that turned you gay? I think that it goes to the notion of like, what is gay? And I had to define that for myself. And I was like, what is gay for me? And gay to me is I am naturally attracted to men. That I was created to love a man in the way that I wasn't able to love a woman. Yeah. People like, oh, molestation or somebody this, that, and third. And so I think that there needs to be like more conversations like this to help the world understand that like there's not a whole lot of influence on like turning somebody gay. I think that people can turn people out in these particular things, but like when I get down to it for myself and I think about it for myself, and like I said, me coming to terms with me being gay was a journey with God. And so there's no like, I don't have no like influences in that nature.
And I think like being queer allows you, like I think black men all black men should explore identity. I think identity is something that's robbed from us for generations. So trying to explore, you attach to an identity like that. You can be ultra mask or you can do whatever, but you just attach this identity being a black man. And the queer part allows you to explore identity at a very early age, lets you explore self. So I think that's one of the, and then in turn, when we have conversations with our straight counterparts, because they're hurting too, but they just don't know how to talk about it. And I think that's the opportunity that queerness afforded us. Like we have to talk about it to live, to survive. So what are some words of wisdom you would leave us with? 2 parts.
Okay.
I hate to ask the question what you would tell your younger self, because you hear it all the time now, but what did you need?
Wow.
What did this boy need? Or this person?
This boy,
Yeah.
he needed a hug and to be assured that he was safe.
That's beautiful.
And so what I would tell someone else.
Oh, what would you tell him?
What I would tell him, I gotta prop him up real quick. Oh, wow. That I see you.
Amen.
And you are going to change the world.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and there's nothing that you need to change about yourself.
And any parting words of wisdom?
First, I would like to say thank you for having this space.
Thank you for being a part of it, because when we started the project, you were the first person to say, you should do something with this.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah. My parting words are going to be, through these conversations that we have, there's going to be an influx of queer men rising up, and we just want to say that we have space for you too.
Amen.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay and safe here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great.
Thank you.